So I got this roommate of mine that was telling me about the way he deals with women, and I wanted to talk about it, not because I wanted to talk about him, but I wanted to talk about a common phenomena or common behavior that a lot of guys do with women or girls that they're interested in, that they have a romantic interest in. And what oftentimes that I see occur is, oh, let me give you an example. He would tell me about this girl, and he'll say, you know, I just gave her my phone number, and if she calls, then that's the way it is. You know, the ball's in her court. You know, it's like I didn't do, you know, I did what I know what, you know, I did my job, and if she doesn't ever call me back or anything, that's fine. And you know, there's some philosophies to that. One of the philosophies is, well, you know, you give the phone number to her, and you know, so that you make her feel like she's in control, as opposed to you get your phone number, and I mean, you get her phone number. But you know what? You know what? There's something a little bit underneath the surface beyond all that stuff, and that is a, I don't know what to call it. I think it's like some kind of emotional. It's a emotional excuse. You know, I don't even know if there's a right term for this. And maybe somebody out there that understands this better than I do can tell me about it, or make a comment on it. But there's this thing where it's like, I mean, there's an underlying implication, an undertone, a sub-communication that he's performing by saying, here I am, I have the moral high ground, I did my duty, and if she doesn't call, I'm gonna feel good about myself because I'm such a wonderful prize and wonderful treasure, and I'm just too good for her. Kind of like the Aesop's fables, you know, the story of the fox and the grapes. The fox jumped and jumped and couldn't get the grapes, so he said, oh, those grapes must be sour, you know, and it's kind of like that sour grapes, the fox and the grapes fable or tale, whatever you call it, story. So it's almost like that. It's almost like, it's kind of like that, you know, where the fox says to himself, yeah, well, you know, it's almost like the fox saying, making some fabricated excuse, like, well, you know, I don't need to eat grapes because I'm just not into grapes, and I'm better than grapes. I'm gonna have strawberries. You know, I deserve luxury food. Kind of like that. It's almost like an excuse. You know, it's a feel good, make yourself feel good kind of excuse. So when he says, yeah, when he says that to, like, you know, I give her my phone number, and if she doesn't call, you know, it's not any fault of mine, and I know I did my job, and it's kind of like, it's kind of self-defeating, I think, because with that undertone is bad news. That undertone is like, almost like I'm so high and holy, you know. So it's, I don't know, it's a feel-good excuse, subtle feel-good excuse. What's that? What's the word? I don't know what that's called. But yeah, I noticed it. I noticed in not him, but I noticed it in a lot of people. And you know, kind of like I used to do that too, you know. I'll give you a funny example, real funny, and maybe I was a bit immature, because I've got a pretty, I mean, I think really differently than a lot of people. When I had broken up with my ex, once, one ex, what did I do? Oh, I wore a ring. I wore a ring on my ring finger, you know? And the thinking was, I'm not gonna let girls reject me, and I'm gonna reject them right off the bat. Before, and so no girl deserves me. And that was perhaps it, you know, that's really comical, really funny. But at the time, it was far easier for myself to justify putting on a ring and turning off a lot of potential girls, because it was easier for me to deal with the pain by taking a almost like lashing out, you know, and it was easier for me to do that than to take the hurt of being rejected. So I think a lot of guys consider that too, you know, try to take the moral high ground, like, well, you know, I don't need to do any dirty work. If she ever calls me, then okay, then I know she's for real. You know, she's interested in me. But that's not necessarily true. A girl may be interested in you and still she doesn't call you. She's waiting for you to initiate. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I thought that was kind of interesting because I've been encountering it regularly. Well, not really regularly, but I've been noticing it. I gotta go and get my glasses. I lost my glasses a few years ago. I mean, about a year ago, and still have not brought myself to... Oh no, I lost it over 6 months ago, because I lost it on my FV650, and my 650 was 6 months old. Huh.